Once you see it, it changes everything. You can't unsee it. You can't forget. The scrape of hooves against asphalt, something moving just out of sight. A twisted mix of man and goat, horns barely visible, eyes glowing like embers in the dark. It moved with a jerky, unnatural grace, each step a mockery of human movement, slipping through the night, watching. Hasan's summer house lay hidden in a secluded corner of a Turkish resort town, surrounded by dense pine forests and the distant murmur of the sea. The isolation seemed like a perfect retreat, but the wind rustled the leaves, and no birds sang, creating an unnatural hush, as if something watched from the shadows. As they walked to the bus stop that night, Hasan felt an inexplicable chill, and Layla kept glancing back, her eyes wide with unease. Last summer, Hasan brought Layla there, both of them seeking peace. They had no idea the darkness that awaited them, a shadow lurking, ready to shatter their illusion of safety. The day was perfect, swimming in the crystal waters, her laughter ringing through the warm air, the salty breeze mingling with their joy. But as dusk fell, an uneasy tension began to settle over them. Shadows crept in, and Hasan felt a heaviness in the air, a sense that something watched from the woods. It was time for Layla to leave. The nearest bus stop was a long walk from the house, and Hasan insisted on walking her there, not wanting their time together to end. Dusk was swallowing the world, the air cooling as they made their way through narrow roads lined with olive trees. Layla held onto Hasan's arm a little tighter. He could feel the tension in her grip as they joked, pretending not to notice the creeping dark. When the bus arrived, she hugged him tightly, her reluctance clear before stepping aboard. Hasan watched the bus until its lights disappeared down the winding road, his chest tightening with worry. What if Layla wasn't safe? The thought gnawed at him, twisting in his gut, making every step on the way back feel heavier. He tried to shake it off, but the unease stayed, a constant dull ache as he began the long walk home alone. Hasan stopped at the small gas station near the bus stop for water. The attendant eyed him for a moment, a look of caution in his eyes.
"You should be careful, son,"
the old man said, voice low.
"Strange things wander these roads after dark."
Hasan forced a smile, but the unease in the old man's eyes unsettled him. He tried to shrug it off, dismissing it as superstition, but the words lingered, each step on the road back feeling heavier, the darkness pressing in. The night was silent, too silent, no crickets, no distant hum of life, just the whisper of the breeze through the scattered trees and the crunch of gravel under his feet. Every now and then he thought he heard another sound, a faint rustle, like something moving just out of sight. He moved forward, trying to ignore the growing sense of unease. The occasional stray dog wasn't uncommon here, so when Hasan noticed movement up ahead, he assumed it was just that. But something felt different. The shape was wrong. The hairs on his neck stood on end. This wasn't a dog. It was tall, grotesque, with legs bent at unnatural angles like a goat's. Its eyes glowed in the dim light, horizontal slits staring right through him, cold and alien. Horns curled back from its head, barely visible in the gloom. Fear gripped him, icy and immediate. Hasan's heart pounded, his throat dry. The creature stood there, a monstrous mix of man and goat, its twisted snout and glowing eyes locked onto him. It moved with an unnatural grace, each step a grotesque parody of human movement, hooves scraping against the asphalt. The creature moved toward the tree line, each step deliberate. Fear clawed at Hasan, screaming for him to run, but he couldn't move, heart hammering as he watched it slip into the darkness of the woods. The moment dragged on until finally, it was gone. His breath came back in a rush. Hasan stumbled, nearly tripping over his own feet. The gas station attendant's warning replayed in his mind. Strange things wander these roads after dark. He knew now just how real that warning had been. And Layla, was she safe? The thought of her alone on those dark roads twisted his fear into something sharper. He had to know if she was okay. Hasan pulled out his phone with trembling hands and called Layla. His heart pounded as he listened to the ringing, each second feeling like an eternity. Finally, her voice came through, calm, safe. Relief flooded him as Layla reassured him she had made it home without incident. Hasan closed his eyes, his breath steadying, but the unease didn't completely leave him. What he had seen wasn't natural. It wasn't of this world. The wrongness of it still lingered, gnawing at his insides, refusing to fade. He needed answers, needed to know if anyone else had faced this nightmare, if there was a name for the terror that haunted him. Have you seen something unexplainable? DeadNet Studios wants to hear from you. Share your experience at deadnetstudios@gmail.com and help us uncover the truth.
In the shadows of the digital night, we've wandered far and seen some sights, from haunting tales to eerie lights, to net studios where fear ignites. So long, farewell from the crimson hollows. We'll be back again with more tales to follow. Keep the lights dimmed and your curiosity high, for in Deadnet's realm the spirits never die. We've danced with ghosts, chased legends on, through cryptid codes, stories untold, in cyberspace where mysteries unfold. Our journey's been daring, brave and bold. So long, farewell from the darkened halls, where shadows whisper and the unknown calls. Keep your eyes wide and your mind astir, for the mysteries of Deadnet are a haunting blur. In the world of strange and the unexplained, we find our stories wildly untamed. With the studio's end, we take a little rest. We find the shackles every best.